Claire Costello, it's unofficially giving season. So what should wealthy donors be thinking about right now?
Well, there are quite a few things to think about, and that is, of course, particular to each person's wealth situation and structure, and of course their philanthropic priorities. But we do know from research that we've conducted at Bank of America, U.S. Trust Wealth Management, in conjunction with the Center on Philanthropy at Indiana University, that roughly half of wealthy households do give more during the giving season than they do during the rest of the year. So folks certainly are gearing up and considering how to proceed with their philanthropic investments. We know that tax considerations are certainly a part of that thought process. I hasten to add, though, that tax incentives are really not a strong motivator for why people give, rather just a motivator perhaps in how they structure their giving and the timing of their gift. So that also points to year-end giving. I think the best consideration that people should take into heart is really where they want to see a difference made. We know that making a difference is the #1 motivator for wealthy households, and how to go about doing that is also part of the strategy of giving.
And one thing that the study also shows is that wealthy donors are becoming more strategic. Can you explain that?
Absolutely, they certainly are. We know that roughly 71% of wealthy households report having a strategy annually for their giving. Furthermore, 61% approximately have a stated budget. So we see this greater concentration around strategy and mission and purpose. Roughly 80% of wealthy households indicate in our research that they are either very focused on a finite set of giving areas or social areas, or somewhat focused, which is heartening because the goal, of course, is to make a difference, to get the biggest bang for your philanthropic buck, if you will. And by concentrating on a subset of issues and really delving deep, you're best able to do that. So we see that. We also see, by way of structuring, another aspect of being strategic, that there's a sharp rise across the years that we've conducted this research in the utilization of giving vehicles. By that I mean a private foundation, a donor-advised fund, a split interest trust. So people are consulting outside advisors with greater frequency. They're structuring their giving with greater frequency. They're also becoming much more committed, and that's manifest in a sharp jump in volunteerism among the wealthy. This year our research shows about 89% of wealthy individuals and donors are volunteering their time. There's no better way to be strategic than to learn the inside of an organization and what it needs most, and therefore how you can place your philanthropic investment most effectively. We know that there is a time-tested correlation between volunteer rates and giving levels, so those go hand in hand.
What about the whole idea that because of the nation's budget deficit, taxes will go up? How do you think this will affect giving in the future?
You know, we don't think it's going to have a huge impact. Again, we've asked the question with regard to the income tax deduction and the estate tax elimination for 6 years running, and our results have been pretty consistent. The latest findings tell us that should the income tax deduction be eliminated, that roughly 50% of individuals would hold their giving levels at the same level. In addition, if the estate tax were repealed, we see that 95% would either hold their giving at the same level or continue to give more. And by way of forecast, and again another manifestation of commitment and the fact that folks are not deterred by potential changes in the tax code, we asked again for the first time where folks wealthy individuals saw their giving levels for the next 3 to 5 years. And we learned that 76% would either hold their giving at the same level or increase their giving going forward, which is very heartening news for the nonprofits out there that seek that of support. And it's also heartening, I think, for all of us to know that that level of support has been pledged for years to come.